Oh man, once again, we're on the road, chased down by wildfires in BC. It is absolutely crazy what's going on up here. In fact, you can probably see there's just so much smoke in the air. The biggest concern for us at this exact moment is not the house and the studio, it's the highways. From where I live, I've got 3 access routes to get to the coast, okay? And basically 1 that goes north. 2 of those access routes were cut off as of this morning, and that's usually my sign to hit the road. Oh yeah, for the last 3 weeks, I feel like I've done nothing but load and unload this truck. And though it was really nice to be home for a few days to get some work done, oh man, it is crazy up there, and there are some huge fires burning very close to home. When I've got limited access on the highway system, I get moving, and so that's exactly what we're doing today. Heading back to the coast. So we're gonna stay with our dear friend Anthony, who has a killer studio, so you can imagine how excited I am. Well, at 3 a.m. when I was in my studio tearing out interfaces and power supplies and everything else, I came across something that I want to share because this can save huge amounts of time in your studio if you find yourself in a position pulling gear out like I was last night, where maybe you've got a temporary gig to go work on and you need to pull a few pieces of your main equipment out to go work off-site somewhere. So as I was pulling stuff apart last night, I couldn't help but notice that every single power supply and cable that's in that huge pile of cables under the console is labeled. This is a practice that I've sort of imported from my touring experience, being out there in the live world. When I'm building live systems that are going to go out on the road, every single time I label every single thing that's in the back of that rack, including power supplies, connections, all kinds of different chaos that's going on in the back of that rack. I use what's called high-vis spike tape. It's like a form of gaff tape. Make sure I'm not speeding when we pass the RCMP. A roll of high-vis spike tape is just priceless. I'm talking about maybe a 1/2-inch wide gaff tape that has a high-vis color, either yellow or lime. Personally, I've got a roll of really nasty orange spike tape, but does it ever stand out clearly when you're in the dark, looking in behind a rack, whatever it is? Yeah, I encourage anybody who's building a studio, whether it be a project studio or a main installation, take the time to label every single power supply and cable that goes into the back of those racks. It can save so much time, particularly last night. 3 in the morning, I'm pulling out like an audio interface and the power supply for it. Yeah, I've got 4 different universal audio devices in my studio, but all I wanted last night was the Apollo 8. Well, I gotta make sure I have the right power supply for it. They're all a little bit different. So it's just a huge bonus to have everything labeled. You can literally take that spike tape and just throw a couple of wraps around every power supply, take a Sharpie and just quickly write exactly what that power supply is for. Yeah, I know we're not talking about rocket science here, but the time that you take to carefully label everything that goes into the back of your rack, I promise you, it's gonna save you huge amounts of time down the road.